Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sly Cooper Wiki. My name is Trev, your usual host, and today we'll be looking at Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, specifically the version on the right, the PAL release. Now we've already covered the North American release in a few variants. You can see those videos in the description down below or in the cards that should pop up. Now just for a quick reference, the North American release, which is on the left here, that released on February 5th, 2013, but the PAL release, the one on the right, released on March 27th, 2013, almost 2 months later than the North American release. This is a bit unusual considering, at least in the PlayStation 3 era and especially in the PlayStation 4 era, the games don't have quite a staggered release in between regions, but these are the release dates of these respective games. Looking at the front covers, they look pretty much identical. There are a few minor differences that help you discern which one's North American and which one is from the PAL region. For instance, the biggest giveaway is the rating system here. So the North American release obviously has an ESRB rating, everyone 10 and up, whereas the PEGI release has a PEGI 7 rating. PEGI is only used in these PAL regions, specifically the European regions, so it's a pretty easy way to distinguish whether or not you're getting the North American release or the PAL release. Additionally, the cross-buy notice here is featured with a blue background as opposed to a white background, and the shot of the PlayStation Vita is angled instead of flat as it is on the North American release. Additionally, the dialogue used here to advertise cross-buy is slightly different. On the PAL release it says includes downloadable version for PlayStation Vita, whereas on the North American release it says includes downloadable version for your PlayStation Vita system. So minor change in wording there, but really it's the same information, but it is a difference nonetheless. Moving to the spine is what we've come to expect from European copies at this point. It's a plain font with a white background. It doesn't really go well with the rest of my Sly Cooper shelf, but at least it's standardized with the rest of the PAL versions, so I'll give it that. It does have a PlayStation Network notice and a identifier, a unique identifier here, BCES01285. Unlike the front cover, however, the back cover is where things differentiate quite a bit. The captions and the taglines that are used on the PAL release are very different than its North American counterpart. For instance, on the PAL release it says "Thieves your way across time," whereas on the North American release the main tagline is "Sly and the gang are back in an epic new adventure." The screenshots here also differ. There's one from feudal Japan and there's a couple from medieval England, with one of the screenshots featuring Sly and the gang, another featuring Galeth, and another one featuring Carmelita. The picture of the gang used here is slightly different than the picture of the gang used on the North American release. Sly is in the same pose, but Murray and Bentley are mirrored, and Carmelita is in a different pose than her North American counterpart. Other than that, there's not really much else to say. There is a cross-save notice here, so your PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita saves can be uploaded to the cloud, so you can fetch those saves directly, so you can take your progress on the go. And there's a 3D television notice because this game is playable in 3D on a compatible 3D TV. One thing worth noticing is that this is the first Sly Cooper game that was not developed solely by Sucker Punch. This was developed solely by Sanzaru Games after their work on the Sly Collection or Sly Trilogy. The inside is what I'm sure a lot of people are a little more excited for because, yes, unlike the North American counterpart, the PAL release features a manual. Now, these are pretty rare these days, especially in a game that released in 2013, so it is nice to see this game come with a manual. It's nothing too extravagant. It does set up the background a bit, sort of what the story's about and the characters. It details the characters' controls as well as some other features that go along with that cross-save and cross-buy. There's a bit of information on the collectibles as well as the Binocicom and the basic controls of Bentley, but it's nothing too extravagant. This manual does differ from the North American digital manual that comes with the North American version, in the sense that this physical manual details a little less about the specific hacking games and what sort of activities you can do in the hideout. Regardless, it is nice to see a physical paper manual. It's no Thieves Raccoonus, but it is nice to see. Additionally, we also get a flyer for that cross-buy feature that was advertised on the back of the game. It's just detailing what sort of cross-buy is, how you can get the PlayStation Vita version from the PlayStation 3 disc, and sort of how that sort of cross-save feature works. It's an interesting flyer to see, and it's blank on the back, so it's nice to see that included. Before we go to the disc, I do want to touch on the jacket really quick, because the jacket also differentiates from the North American release. Recall that the North American release featured controls for Sly, Bentley, and Murray, whereas the PAL release features that sort of promotional image that we've seen earlier, of sort of this table featuring all of these sort of hints and clues as to where Sly and the gang might be going in Thieves in Time. We see a lamp, we see a samurai helmet, a cactus, Bentley's glasses, etc. There's a lot of cool things in here. It's also a cool wallpaper. I'll try to link that in the description down below. It's nice to see this promotional image. It's better than a blank cover, that's for sure, and it's pretty cool to see. Moving on to the disc is also where these two versions differ. The North American one is on the left and features the background image that was used on the front cover with the locations and Sly leaping, whereas the PAL release features basically the front cover including Sly. We don't see that on the North American release, but we do see that on the PAL release, so it's interesting to see. Other than that, really though, you've got your usual fine print and whatnot that's relevant to each region, and you've got the PEGI rating and all that sort of thing. This disc does work on my North American PlayStation 3. I did try it, and you can try any sort of languages. It also did pick up on my North American save files, which was kind of convenient, so if you were curious about sort of how that works out, it seemed to work out fine in my case. And with all that said, that brings us to the end of this unboxing video. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to hit that like button. If you're new here and want to see more content like this one, feel free to subscribe. And I'll try to have scans of the jacket, manual, and disc in the description down below, so you can view the whole manual at your own discretion. And of course, if you guys want us to unbox something sooner rather than later, definitely let us know in a comment down below, and we'll see what we can do. Until then, this has been Shrev, your usual host of these videos and bureaucrat of the Sly Cooper Wiki, your #1 resource for anything and everything Sly Cooper. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.